everyone, and thanks for joining us for Phoenix Mecano's next webisode of Tech Tuesday, an all-new web series designed to cover a lot of technical information about some of our most popular products, but keeping things fast, friendly, focused, and free of any unnecessary fluff. In today's webisode, we will be taking a look at our large lineup of clamps and tubing connectors from our RK Rose+Krieger connection technology product family. So I've invited Peter Alley, one of Phoenix Mecano's top design engineers, and basically the clamp guru himself, to guide us through some of the more important details to consider when choosing the right kinds of clamps or tubing connectors for that next big project. Welcome, Peter. Thanks for joining us.
Greetings. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's just jump right in, Peter. Can you tell me a little bit about what makes RK Rosenkrieger's connection technology so popular and keeps our customers coming back for more?
The big thing it offers is flexibility. We have a wide variety of types of clamps, also of sizes of tubing that they will work for, which allows you to build pretty much whatever you need. Also, it has the benefit over welded structures of being able to change the structure or add on to it without needing welding training, a welder,
So you don't need no special
Yeah,
tooling.
right. All you need is an Allen wrench.
What about cutting the tubing and the clamps to size? Does Phoenix Mecano offer that?
Yes, we can cut any tubing you need to size. We can machine additional holes or slots or what have you in it, and we do so on a regular basis.
Okay. I imagine the flexibility of this product line makes your job as a design engineer a little bit easier since you don't have to weld the steel or weld things together, change it up
Yes.
every single time an application is changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep, we can just make minor changes, and it makes it more fun.
Now, when a customer is trying to pick which particular connection system or tubing, clamps and tubing they would need, what are some things that you could offer for them to consider when choosing from our product line?
The first thing to consider would be the load requirements of the system. We have 3 series of clamps that use different materials and therefore support different loads. So that's the first thing to consider. The second is, how do you need the connections to work? Do you need them to be parallel to each other, perpendicular, but going past each other, perpendicular and butting, one butting into the next? We have a wide variety there.
Okay.
We also offer both single piece clamps, in which the tubing has to go through the end of it, or multi-piece clamps where you can actually retrofit onto an existing tube.
Okay.
Also important to consider is the size of the tubing you need. That in part works back into the loading as well, but also whether you're using round or square tubing.
Okay. And we offer both of those, I'm told.
Yes.
Okay.
We have both tubing and clamps, excuse me, for both round and square.
Okay. I'm sure that opens up the flexibility of where the product can be used as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about different sizes of tubing? Can the clamps work with both, let's say two of the tubes need to be joined together, obviously. Can those clamps be adjusted to meet different sizes of tubing?
The individual clamps generally cannot. There are a couple sizes that have inserts that'll let you narrow one side or the other down. However, we do have clamps that are specifically for changing sizes of tubes. So you can have a large in one hole and a small in another.
Okay.
I've actually got an example of that right here, where we have a larger diameter tube and a smaller diameter tube connected by a single clamp. Also, we've got clamps that will change from a round tube to a square tube.
Okay.
So those options do exist as needed.
Okay, so it is quite flexible. Then what the materials that those components are made of? Can you speak a little on that?
Sure. We don't actually have any of the lightest load clamps on this example, but they're made out of plastic.
Okay.
And can support several pounds. Depending on the exact loading, I think it's anywhere from like 10 pounds to about 75 for the highest loading ones.
Okay.
But that's our lightest tier. Our mid tier, which is where we have the most flexibility, are made out of aluminum and can support hundreds of pounds, depending on the clamp and the application. Then we also have the robust line, which are made out of stainless steel and in some cases can support thousands of pounds.
Okay. Yeah, very good. So those would be more of like your clamps that are any kind of shock resistance or vibration control. Would that be more in that line, or is that something that's offered amongst all of them?
They all have a certain degree of shock resistance. Metal, of course, is fairly good at that.
Thanks for that information, Peter. Let's talk a little bit about handles for adjusting those clamps. Let's say a customer is constantly having to raise up something, lower something, or where they would need to adjust the clamps or tubing. Do you guys offer any kind of accessories like that that would accommodate that?
Certainly. All of the clamps by default come with bolts. These are socket head cap screws for the most part, so just an Allen wrench is needed. However, if you don't want to have to deal with even that, we do sell handles to replace the bolts, which are ratcheting. Okay. So you can replace all the bolts with the handles. You give them a twist. If that hasn't loosened it enough, you can pull the handle out slightly, rotate it back, and then give it another twist. So that way, even in tight spaces, you can loosen the bolts as much as needed to allow the clamp to slide around.
Okay. All right. So you don't even need, sounds like, any special training to install or adjust
Nope.
the piece. Very good. And a lot of this stuff is in stock and ready to ship, or what's the lead time on that kind of thing?
We keep many of the clamps in stock. Some we do need to bring over from Germany, which we can do by air freight or sea freight, depending on the customer's needs. I can't really speak to lead times on that.
Okay. Okay.
But we also keep handles in stock. So if you need to retrofit, we can quickly get those out to you as well.
Okay.
One thing that we haven't mentioned is that we can provide clamps in either metric or Imperial inch sizes.
Okay. Yeah, that is good to know. I've seen some things where they only come in metric sizes. So that's good to know.
And even if it's not a catalog part that you need in an inch size, if there's a close but slightly smaller diameter metric size, we can machine that out to meet the inch requirements.
Okay, and you can do that right there in your Frederick facility.
Yes.
Very good. That's very, very good information, Peter. I thank you very much for your time today. And viewers, if you guys have any other questions, specifics, need to know anything else, please go ahead and put those in the comments down below, and we will definitely get back to you with answers on that. But again, thanks for your time today, Peter. And this concludes our episode of Tech Tuesday.
Certainly.
Great.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.